better coach, the better quarterback, the offense, the defense, who is even the X factor of this game. We'll be recapping the 4 games that are about to happen this weekend and see who has the edge for each one. Let's jump right in. I truly believe that from the bottom of my heart that Lamar Jackson is a better quarterback than Josh Allen. If you asked me to build a team out of these two tomorrow, I would take Lamar. Now let's not even focus on the stats because the stats alone favor Lamar. I want to talk about the playoff narrative, okay? Because last time I checked, no one not named Brady has beat Mahomes in the playoffs more than once. Burrow is the only other guy who has, and that was 723 days ago, who since then the Bengals are 18-17 overall, 0-3 versus KC, and have missed the playoffs twice since last beating them when it mattered. So sorry if I say I'm going to take the more athletic quarterback who has 1 more Pro Bowl, 1 more All-Pro, and 2 more MVPs. I'm going to take the quarterback that when entering the league was such a project quarterback that people were demanding he turns to a running back, and 7 years later sets a record for first ever to have 4,000 passing yards and 800 rushing yards in a season. I'm taking that same project quarterback who just set the second highest NFL history single season passer rating record, higher than Manning, higher than Breeze, higher than Montana, than Brady, than Mahomes, only second behind Aaron Rodgers, who we coincidentally call the most beautiful passer, the most accurate, the most perfect passer of the football of all time. So sorry, not sorry, I'm taking Lamar. Now the better quarterback leads to the better offense. Ravens ranked first in the league this year with 425 total yards per game, first in rushing, and third in points per game. Ravens have the better offense. I do believe that the Bills have the better defense. They led the league in turnover differential. This team forces you to turn the ball over. There's no question about that. And on top of it, they score. So they capitalize off your mistakes. And that is crucial in the playoffs. Bills have the better defense. Now John Harbaugh has a ring. Sean McDermott doesn't. He has not even been to a Super Bowl as a head coach. I'm taking Harbaugh on this one. Now the reason the Ravens folded in the playoffs last year to the Chiefs is because they let go of their identity. They ran away from it. No pun intended. In the second half, they ran the ball 3 times. Now that doesn't happen when you have Derrick Henry, or it shouldn't happen. If that does, then you got a problem with coaching. Because Derrick Henry is what I believe is the difference maker with this Ravens team. And he can relieve some of the pressure off Lamar. The formula is simple. Games that Derrick Henry has 20 or more carries, they have yet to lose with him. When they don't feed him 20 carries, they're 0-5. So it's simple. Hand this guy the rock. You got this guy during the offseason for a reason. He is the X factor of this game. Moving on to Saturday night's game, Commanders at Lions. So this is a pretty one-sided way all the way through except for the quarterback. Right now, I would give the Lions the edge on quarterback because Goff has been to a Super Bowl. He's more proven. He's the more experienced quarterback overall. But man, is Jaden Daniels going to be incredible through the years. Jaden Daniels is going to be the next superstar of the NFL. Jaden Daniels, I believe, is already on pace to be the best quarterback in his own division. Yes, I would go to that extent. Jaden Daniels is single-handedly the reason the Commanders are where they are right now. He is single-handedly the reason the Commanders have 6 wins in the last 10 seconds of a game or overtime. He is nonchalant. He acts like it's just another game. He even says, oh, it's just another game. And I truly believe him when he says that. For now, I give the Lions the edge. But by next year, don't be surprised. I don't think any of us should be surprised if the Commanders have the edge at quarterback in the same time, the same scenario by next year. Offense goes to the Lions, and so does the defense. Head coach even goes to the Lions. Now, I love what Dan Quinn is doing, and we know he's been to Super Bowl before, but MCDC, Dan Campbell, he has the edge on this one. He's the ultimate culture builder. X Factor is a player that needs to have the biggest performance in order for their team to succeed. And that player is Jaden Daniels. Plain and simple. The Lions have showed us that Goff can throw 5 interceptions and still win. The Lions have showed us that David Montgomery can be completely absent and still win. The Lions have showed that they can win without Sam Laporta or win without Jameson Williams. The Lions are arguably the best roster in the league. Philly's right there too. And when you have that type of roster, your stars can have off games and it doesn't matter. Jaden Daniels alone needs to have his best game of his young NFL career to win Saturday night's game. Now moving on to Sunday's 3:30 game, Rams at Eagles. Now I truly believe that Matthew Stafford is the best quarterback remaining in the NFC. I believe that Stafford and McVay is arguably the second best quarterback coach combo in the entire league, only behind Mahomes and Reid. Now, if Stafford did not waste his first decade of his years being with the Lions and instead being with a capable coach and entire team, now I say entire team because I know he had Megatron, he had a nasty weapon, but outside of being top heavy, the Lions were the worst franchise in the league, the most embarrassing team of the NFL. So had he not wasted his first 10 years of his career with them, I seriously think we would be looking at Matthew Stafford as a completely different quarterback in an even better way than we already do. Offense goes Philly. This is, like I said, arguably the most talented roster altogether. One of the most talented offenses. You have the best O-line in the league. No doubt about that one. You have one of the best wide receiver pairs with AJ and Devontae. You have a running back who almost won MVP for the first time since 2012 and almost broke a 40-year rushing record. You have a totally capable quarterback who matched up head-to-head with Mahomes in the Super Bowl in 22. Philly gets that one. Philly also gets a defense. I believe this is the best defense in the league, led by defensive coordinator Vic Fangio and sparked by their hot-headed coach Nick Sirianni. The Rams have the youngest defense in the league, but look like they're going to be very good in the future. Gotta give props to Les Snead, Sean McVay, and the Rams scouting, because when you lose a player who's as impactful and as great as Aaron Donald was, you are not supposed to pick right back up where this Rams team is right now. So you gotta give props. I'm giving the head coaching edge to the guy who's been to 2 Super Bowls in 8 years, and who I believe is a top 3 head coach in the entire league, Sean McVay. If you ask me, who do I think is the weakest link on the Eagles? I would tell you Jalen Hurts. Sometimes this team plays like they're putting restrictions on their quarterback. They limit him to about 20 throws a game, which nothing wrong with that, especially because it was obviously working in regular season. They went on an 11-game win streak. But now it's playoff time. And that's when you need your quarterback to be at his best abilities, playing at his best. Now, something interesting about this year's playoffs is out of the 8 remaining teams, 7 out of the 8 are first rounders, except for Jalen Hurts. He's the only not first round quarterback. Hurts needs to feed his wide receivers better, like backups Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee were feeding A.J. Brown instantly when they came into the game. Maybe if he was feeding his weapons better, A.J. Brown wouldn't be reading a book on the sideline how to be better on his inner man. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if A.J. Brown is getting fed 8 to 10 receptions a game, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be spending time on the sideline reading. That's just my opinion. Now, which team has the better quarterback? Now, I don't think there are many questions on this one. For the offense. Now, I know each year the Chiefs' offense feels less and less like the 2018 Chiefs, where they could drop 42 on any given Sunday. But since the addition of Hollywood coming back to this offense, when he's back and healthy, in 2 games, the Chiefs are averaging 28 points per game. Mahomes is averaging just under 300 yards per game, a 110 passer rating, and a clean 5 touchdowns to 0 turnover ratio. And keep in mind, both these offenses have watched their best weapons go down. Both teams lost wide receiver 1s, but the difference is one team let it affect their winning in the regular season, and the other didn't slow down a bit. The Chiefs have the offensive advantage going into Saturday's game. Now for the defense. I do believe that the Texans own this one. Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. on the edges is a nasty pair. The Chargers have one of the best O-lines in the league, and they demoralized them. Pressured Herbert on 40% of their plays. In fact, the biggest play of the game that sealed the deal, the pick 6, was because of the pressure. Herbert wasn't comfortable, feet weren't set, moving in the pocket, overthrown ball, pick 6. Now, do I think their defense will have the same impact on this week as they did last week? No. Week 16, when they played the Chiefs, they couldn't stop Mahomes on a sprained ankle, and an O-line that Andy Reid was sort of experimenting with. Now, give the Chiefs starters and Andy Reid 24 days to prepare and scheme up some screens, some distractions online, some movement. I trust Andy to slow down this Texans defense, as he already did about 4 weeks ago. Now, head coach goes to the Chiefs, the best active coach in the NFL. Now, the X factor of the game is who I believe needs to have the biggest performance for their team to succeed. As we saw last season, it was almost like Travis Kelce was retired in the regular season and just came out of retirement for the playoffs. He clearly has been saving his health, saving his energy, not taking hard hits. He is going to be the piece, just like last year, that gets him successfully through each game. Travis Kelce is the X factor. Now that's going to be it for who has the edge over this divisional round playoffs.